Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes.
everyone, and welcome again to another day of the AMX Global Season 2. My name is Reed. I'm here with not Brad. It's Marco. Don't believe our lies. We didn't do radical facial and hair surgery to Brad just to make him more handsome. We just got Marco to come back, and it's good to have you here today. What do you have to say about the races that we have coming up, Marco?
Hello everybody, yes, Reed, it's going to be a fantastic day today because we have two entry-level open wheelers on two very famous racetracks in shorter configuration, so it's going to be a very exciting day. We start with the ultimate entry-level car in racing, the Formula V, and then we'll move on, of course we are here at the beautiful Hockenheim ring, then we'll move on for the USF2000, basically the entry-level US car in racing. We'll switch to a few kilometers away at the Nurburgring Grand Prix sprint track. So for the lovers of low-powered open wheelers, which are always cars that produce very close, exciting racing, it's going to be a great day, and I think it's going to be a great day for everyone watching us and for the drivers as well.
So here's a look at AMX Season 2, and for the drivers today, for you guys watching, if you'd like to join at amxrace.com, this is the way that the points look, right? It's 3 tiers of racing: free, paid tier 1, and paid tier 2. Today, I believe we have a free race to start, and then we'll have a paid tier 1 immediately following that on Nurburgring. So that means that for free tier, there's no entry fee, and for the next 2 weeks, we're doubling the prize pool. That means a $60 prize pool. You're making on average twice as much money, and it's free to race. So head on over to check it out at amxrace.com. And then for paid tier 1, $5 entry fee and $134 on the line there. Plus you get $1 just for showing up as the attendance prize. So basically always worth your money. Here's a look at the days left. We are almost through with the month of May. Marco, can you believe it? The time is just flying.
It's amazing. We're already midway through the month, and again, we've been racing 2-3 times, 4 times per week sometimes, which means we're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, lots of fun, and these guys are having the most fun of everybody because they are our current point total standings leaders. Kyle, Vinicius, Gaspar up at over $1,000, the first one to break that. And interestingly enough, he only has a 26% win rate. So he's still getting all that money, even though only 26% of the time he picks up the win, as compared to guys like Gael Valero. Almost 70% of the time you see him on the track, he's going to win. That's what the stats say. Quarantine Guinness also similarly down there at 63%. So very, very dominant racers here. And we're going to be seeing a few of them in just a few moments. So absolutely some of the most skilled racers that we've seen so far this season. Now, I mentioned that today we'll be starting with a free tier race, and you might notice a few things look a little bit different. For this week and next 2 weeks, we're doubling the prize pool for our free tier races. And that means you don't have to pay any money. You just go to amxrace.com, sign up, enter a free race right on the front of the website, and then you too can have a chance to win a total of 19 points, each point being worth 1 USD. If you win, and the fastest lap is now worth $5. So basically, even if you don't win, if you still just make the fastest lap, you're taking home $5. And of course, if you place in the top 10, which is, I would say, fairly easy to do, you just get $2 for free. Very, very cool promotion. So definitely head over to amxrace.com and avail yourself of this brand new opportunity as we're doing this double prize money promotion. So here's a look at the people who have been doing that quite a bit. Once again, Kyle Gaspar way up at the top, $80 so far in the bank for his free tier race winnings. So very impressive, a very consistent combatant here in the AMX arena. So very cool to see such a dominance from our top 10 racers here in the free tier, which of course anybody can enter at any time at amxrace.com. And I think that is going to do it for most of our housekeeping. This is a version of the slide that would tell you about the race, but it's not that slide. So it's a preview of the slide that will be coming up almost immediately after this. And here we are. This is Hockenheim Ring. And if you want to know a little bit more about Hockenheim Ring, I'm going to throw things over to Marco to tell us a little bit about what's in store.
Yes, thank you, Reed. Of course, we are racing in the short B layout here in Hockenheim. So basically, we're going to cut off most, if not all, of the new bit that has been built 20 plus years ago, and we'll cut straight to the right after the first couple of corners, and we'll do basically a little bit of an infill section, and then we'll go back to the iconic final portion of the lap, the Motodrome, that has not changed in so many years, even after the big renovation works of 2002. So a perfect layout for the cars we're about to see on the screen in just a few seconds, that will be on scheduled for today. And it is the beautiful, exciting, free and fun Formula V car. There it is. It is available with your racing subscription without paying any extra money, and it's the perfect entry-level car. Now, it is a Volkswagen Beetle with the unnecessary bits taken off and made it look like it's somewhat of a race car, but as you can see even from the suspension there at the front, it's completely a road car made to look like a Formula car. There is zero aerodynamic grip, it's all down to the mechanical grip, groove tires, 4 gears on your H-pattern gearbox, and of course the same engine shared with the Volkswagen Beetle car. So don't expect very high top speeds, expect a lot of fun, tight quarter, and surprisingly a challenging car to control, as we can see a couple of drivers struggling already with the puffs of smokes here and there. So I'm thinking we're going to have a lot of fun today with these little cars on this little track as well.
Marco, would you consider yourself a scientist?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, exactly. See, and here's what happened, okay? Back in the day, we've got the original developers of Formula V and all of the classic era of race cars, and they're thinking to themselves, these are scientists. They would answer yes to that question. And they think, okay, we got race cars, okay, how do we make tires for these race cars to make them go faster? And they're like, all right, we got it. See, if the race car touches the ground, it gets a lot of friction, right? And that slows it down. So we want tires as thin as possible so that it's as fast as, and those people are scientists. So what I'm saying is, Marco, basically anybody can call themselves a scientist if this is the pinnacle of what they can design, because as you said, racing has come a very long way since Formula V was the pinnacle of what it had to offer. And in truth, one of the reasons that these cars are so hard to control is because, you know, like you said, it might look like it has a rocket engine on the back. It might look like it has a race car body, but at the end of the day, you're driving a Volkswagen Beetle around the track, and you're closing your eyes and you're telling yourself, I'm driving a real race car. I'm driving a real race car. But it is certainly very accessible, very supposedly easy to maintain, and it is a lot of fun. If it is even a little bit more challenging, really strip things down to the fundamentals of racing and see what you can do without all of our fancy schmancy traction control and crazy things like that.
Yes, and it's an incredibly popular car that's been raced all over the world. It's basically from South America to North America to Europe, everywhere. And each country/continent region does it a little bit differently, but iRacing created a sort of a hybrid in between all the various Formula Vs you can have around the world, so that nobody was disappointed to see, you know, the Formula V for example in Automobilista 2. Brazilian racing simulator, you can drive the Brazilian Formula V, which again is slightly different, but you know, the thing that doesn't change, it's a Volkswagen Beetle without the Beetle bits and made it look like a race car, so that's it. As you can see, the standings for practice with Rondoletto leading the way, Valero, Purwin, Kulabi, Villarreal, Manuel Escoli, who recently debuted in the series from Argentina, teammate to Rondoletto, Hasenji and Kang without a valid lap time. One thing that I love about this car is that they have modeled the fact that when they shift into a higher gear, and sometimes even when they shift into a lower gear, there is a bit of oil that gets sent into the exhaust or something like that, and so you will see random puffs of smoke from the car. So these are not signs of an engine failure. It's supposed to work like that. The first time I was really scared when this car was introduced to iRacing, but then I realized it's all good. See there? The red car with a puff of smoke going down a gear into the motodrome. So yeah, this is going to be throughout the race.
Yeah, I thought they did just put our producer TJ in the back end, and he was a little bit nervous that day. But actually, it's just them changing gears whenever you see that puff of smoke out of the back of the race car. So thank you very much for that PSA. I learn new things every day. One more reason Marco should absolutely call himself a scientist. Thank you for educating us all, making us all a little bit smarter. Speaking of making us all a little bit smarter, we are on board with Gael Valero, one of the most accomplished virtuosos of speed, if you will. It seems like we really try, Marco. We really try to come up with the wackiest combinations of cars and tracks, and obviously there is some method to the madness, but we're trying to find one weakness in this guy's armor. He is a monster, a killer, and he's out here on Formula Vs, which in theory would strip away a lot of the fancy schmancy, you know, LMP hybrid car, like the supercars. Like we take it all away, and now we're just putting himself. It's not quite like he's just doing a foot race running around the track, but it's like closer, right? So we've really got to find out what this guy is made of, and so we've put him inside this tiny little fuselage and sent him out onto the track to see if anyone can stop this monster. He has been doing very, very well. He's climbing way up towards the top of the standings, and he's not there yet, but he's getting better at it. So we'll see if he can make it all the way there today. Many kind of a rogues gallery, a who's who of some of the best racers that we've had all season long in AMX Season 2. And just by way of preventing future heart attacks, a minor message to guys like Gael Valero and a few of our other racers out there. Going into today's race, we had like one racer signed up, and I was like, okay, well, you know, that's cool. And then I think we had like 7 signups right before the race starts, and now we have 8 total racers for today, which, while essentially the same, does provide us with a little bit of a heart attack. So I'm just saying, if you and your grandma want to start racing at AMX, maybe you can do it anytime, right? And maybe sooner, perhaps better than later. Okay, and then by far one of the worst parts of today's broadcast is over. Don't worry, guys. I know that was a scary moment. We put a camera in our production room, and while normally we lock them in there cold and alone and slide plates of food to them under the door, we've decided to let them say hi every once in a while because of their good behavior. So don't worry. If that was scary, we'll exercise them a little bit later on. So I apologize for that moment.
You know, Reed, in some leagues I'm a commentator, in some I'm a broadcaster, in some I do race control, and in some I'm a driver. So I think I tried everything. This is what works the best for me, I think, the commentary. So I have to say, no. I think after race control, the broadcaster is like the second toughest job of them all. It what really irks me sometimes when I commentate races in other platforms and I see I'm talking about some, or maybe I'm watching races and then the commentator is talking about something, they are showing other things. Our guys are the best, and you know, I think there should be more series that do broadcaster camera to show that we are us broadcasters behind the scenes are not just enjoying the show from a privileged position and not also, you know, since we are not on camera. You know, the only downside is that if you're on camera as a broadcaster, you can indulge in the pleasures of I don't know, beer, you know, or something else, maybe a big dish of pasta with tomato sauce, because now you have a camera, so you have to be discreet when you do these things.
Yeah, but the problem is that we used to have standards, Marco, where we would only let the handsomest, funniest people be on camera. But now they'll let anybody on camera. No offense, Marco.
You know, our broadcast team are the best, I think. You know, and you know, I come from a you know, position where certainly it's in all of my interest to do the best praises and the most praises I can to our fantastic broadcasting behind the scenes, because you know, they actually came out and reached to me to come and commentate here. So you know, I have to be grateful. And as a broadcaster myself, I know their pain. So we have seen sometimes on the board. Now I was looking at the standings earlier with the earnings for the free tier, and if I'm not mistaken, Valero is $1 behind the $50 threshold. I think that Purwin is like $7 back, and there is Kulavi who's like $12 back, something like that. So important race for these guys to get over the $50 threshold minimum payment for the free tier. So again, they will be helped by the promotion that you were talking about with the double points for the free tier. But this race, I mean, you're seeing already here from the qualifying session, these guys are already wheel to wheel, and it's not even the race proper. And this track, oh, look at that collision between that was Purwin and that was Scully.
Yeah, the Scully guy, he's new. We gotta show him who's boss. This is, you know, there's not room in this town for the two of us. Well, I guess there's 8 people on the track, but yeah, it's a dangerous world out there. He's putting up times. There's frankly too close, and so we've got the usuals, the usual suspects out there on the track, and they're I guess initiating him into the ways of the Formula V. It's very unforgiving, right? You try to pass, you try to turn too quickly. There's another wheel way stretched out there reaching to grab you. It can be very, very difficult. So especially when you are so close, like he was, 500th or thousandths of a second behind Josh Purwin, as far as qualifying times are concerned, you really, really do have to be careful about these very open, exposed wheels when you turn, pass, draft, basically everything. It's a dangerous, unforgiving world out there. So glad it happened during qualifiers and not during the actual race. It should be getting started here in just about a minute and a half. Group qualifiers, so everybody gets a chance to finish their lap if they started before the end of time. And currently, it looks like all of our racers are putting up some very, very similar times.
Yes, super close at the top, especially from position 3 to position 5. Those guys are basically, you could throw a blanket over them, as cameras for Gaston Kulavi there, so racing for South America racing team, which is of course the same team as we've seen other drivers from that team as well. And also we have 2 teams from Juncos Esports, 2 drivers from Juncos Esports, sorry. One of them is Rondoletto, who's dutifully put on the livery for his team, but Scully, same team as Rondoletto, jumps up to second, hasn't. So they have different liveries, but don't be afraid, they are teammates, we promise you they are. Valero there at the front seems like he's going to drive on with pole, even though it's a close margin, but I see he's improving on his pole position lap once again so far. As you can see, the shortcut we take So far so good, but then we come to this right-hander here, this like chicane, which is very, very tricky with that massive curve there on the entry. You can see the Porsche Experience Center there in the back, this like test track that Porsche has built inside Hockenheim Ring, which is available if you purchase the Hockenheim Ring track on iRacing. It comes with it. We've never had an official race there. I don't think it has even pit stalls, but it's available if you want to test out your car in a proper test track. As Purwin is having a shout for pole position. Reed is purple in sector 1 and green in sector 2.
Yeah, this is the final lap, right? Checker flag's already waved. It's now or never, and he's going to be coming through. Let's see if Josh Purwin has done it. He is going to pick up a very, very good time, and that's good enough. Yeah, 1:15.06. What an improvement. On the final shot, he shoots all the way up to the top, ahead of guys like Valero, Calavi, Resende, all equally capable of hitting that pole position. But it goes to Josh Purwin, a guy that we used to see all the time. He had this one excellent day where he hit 2 firsts in a row, and now he's back on top, at least in qualifiers, taking that pole position in field of 8.
It's a fantastic lap, and you were saying, rightfully so, that Purwin was almost at the very end of the field, and out of nowhere he was able to snatch pole position. Here comes Valero. Is this a valid lap? I think it is. Now, will it be good? Oh, mistake in the final corner. And that's going to be it. So no pole for Valero, who's been jumped by Rondoletto as well. So Valero goes down to 3rd. From what looked like a comfy position for him, it was looking like he was good value for a bet for pole position. He will drop down to 3rd, and so this will be your starting order for race number 1 of the day. Josh Purwin and Octavio Rondoletto in the front row. Next to them is Gael Valero and Gaston Culavi. Manuel Scoli, Unco Esports, said he was teammates of Rondoletto. Jackson Hesenji, and then Kang and Villarreal without a valid lap time there at the bottom of the pile. Now, I'm not sure if Kang will be able to take part in the race. Villarreal, of course, we know him. He never qualifies, or almost never qualifies. He has qualified a bit recently, but he will start dead last.
I'm just enjoying our extremely chilled out groove that we have now that we've got this music. By far the greatest upgrade to our stream experience. We've got just sonorous. The quality here. We get to listen to good music. We get to listen to good cars. We get to listen to good commentators. It's just what more could you want in your sim racing experience? And now we get to watch some good drivers. And unfortunately these guys, but don't worry. If you guys have like a drink on your desk, you can just like slide it over in front of the lower fourth of your monitor, and then you don't have to worry about that happening. So we're ready to go. Cars are getting out on to the track. This is the short B configuration of a Hockenheim ring, and that means that it does include that little wacky chicane right before the Mobile 1 curve at the bottom. The short A configuration just makes it a little bit of a smooth corner. We've decided to introduce that chicane, which is really challenging. These Formula V cars starting out now from a standing start. It is it's 7. 7 racers out there, with Kong unfortunately not starting for us today. So 7 Formula Vs out of the track, and this is where the action happens. We've front-loaded it all right in the beginning because distancing yourself from the pack in Formula Vs can be very, very difficult. Coming around the first few corners, we were about to hit that chicane we were talking about, and there it is. And already we have an off track. I don't know if that is allowed. I feel like, topologically, you should probably have to stay at least 99% on the pavement, but a little bit of a shortcut coming through there, and you are seeing that smoke come out as our drivers downshift around these curves. Heading back around for the first of 12 laps today on the short B configuration of Hockenheim Ring.
Nightmare first lap for Josh Purwin. He went from first to third into turn one, then he got a shoulder barge from, I think that was Scully that pushed him down to P5. Meanwhile, at the front has been Valero and Rondoletto, and it's Gael Valero that draft past the Argentinian, gets into first place. Oh, no. We have a big overtake there from, we've seen Purwin going all the way to the escape road to defend from Diego Villarreal, as Jackson Resengi has spun in the first lap, and now he's back into the pits, and I think he's called it a day. So unlucky start for Purwin, and mostly for Resengi, who has had to basically retire immediately.
Resengi, and now Josh Purwin all the way at the back, and even more action. That's what I'm telling you. Another collision. Oh my God, no halos here. Our drivers may be in danger. Resengi, he's already heading down to the hospital. We wish him and his family the best of luck after this race. And we have limited racers left, Marco.
There was a spin from Gaston Culavi. He lost the car and he was collected by Villarreal, as we have Rondoletto with a daring maneuver on the inside of the final corner to draft and go past the Apex Racing team driver, but no dice. Excellent defending from the Frenchman. So Valero keeps his car in P1, Rondoletto second, and Scully is looking like he could maybe profit from this fantastic battle between the two leaders and maybe join the fun as well. I mean, it's incredible because as we see Villarreal in the pits, Josh Purwin put on that fantastic pole position lap, but it all came down crashing for him in the span of one lap, and now it's three other drivers, Valero, Rondoletto and Scully, who are left fighting for the win. You can see Purwin sadly lagging 5.5 seconds back from Scully. Mistake from Rondoletto, and his teammate goes through.
Wow. Absolutely crazy to see the magnitude that even just simple mistakes can have today, Marco. You look at guys like Resengi just out for now. Villarreal 30 seconds back, basically out for all intents and purposes. Excuse me. Might decide to come back and try to do a hot lap, get that $5 now that we have doubled the prize money here in our free races. You can really tell that our drivers recognize there's a lot more on the line. Heated battle up towards the first and second, and I guess third spots. And let's take a replay at that crash and see exactly what happened here.
See, you can see that the car of Culavi goes too deep there into this chicane. He almost hits the back of Rondoletto, and he loses the car. It's very easy to lose the car on the curb with these kind of weird tires that these cars have. Then Villarreal has nowhere to go now on the inside. Rondoletto on his teammate Scully. He goes through and up into second, but look at this overtake and counter overtake in the span of one lap between Rondoletto and Scully. Reed has created a 2-second gap at the front, so Gael Valero looking to continue his impressive streak. He will go to 10 wins in 14 races, should he be able to finish this one in first place, which is quite an astonishing accomplishment, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This guy's a killer. He's out there on the streets. You do not want to see him. He is going to be nearing 75% win rate, just on average, when he hits the asphalt. So very, very strong performance. And you see, not only is he able to be consistent in his races independently, but especially because he may not start at the front of the field, but once he gets there, the distance he puts between himself and the rest of the pack is incredible. Now, side by side, hundredths of a second, thousandths between Scully and Rondoletto. The teammates are really going head to head, and now nose to nose, side to side, and they just cannot decide who is going to be taking that second place podium finish. And it really is going to be a battle between these top three. They do have the closest distance between them, but we're only 5 laps through a 12-lap race. There is plenty of time left to go, and these guys are really putting in a maximum amount of work. There's no complacency here, not just settling into some sort of pack. It is just pedal to the metal. Absolutely incredible competition here between Scoli and Rondoletto.
Fantastic stuff between the pair of them, but as I was saying, unfortunately, this is costing them big time, because now the gap, you can see the comparison between Rondoletto, Scoli and Valero, of course, looking from the perspective of Gael Valero there at the front, who's enjoying the nice gap, 2.3 seconds now. So the more they keep fighting with each other, the more they will lose time to the Frenchman there at the front, but still bringing home a nice podium, and I'm sure both of them are having fun. I'm sure they are on the radio with each other. This usually happens between teammates in sim racing. You are often in the same voice chat, of course, because for once it's great to have the coordination and maybe be on the same page with strategies, team orders, etc. And on the other hand, because the banter is always top notch in this case, and I'm sure they're having a lot of fun, especially because they have no one behind them to worry about, because Purwin is sadly now 6 seconds back from Rondoletto. Now the only thing that can ruin this, of course, is a collision, and I'm quite sure they're trying to do their best to have fun, overtake each other, race hard and fair without having a collision.
I mean, that is really difficult to avoid, and honestly, one of the best parts about you do get the draft effect by being near another race car, but honestly, in Formula V, it just becomes so dangerous, especially because probably our racers do not race Formula V all the time. But, and so thus, it can be very, very dangerous to be so close. And yet here they are, and going for it around the outside. Rondoletto trying to make the pass, but he's on the outside of the upcoming curve, coming into that minor chicane at the back, and Rondoletto will be in second after that, with Scoli about half a second behind.
Formula V, one of the rookie cars in racing, as I was saying, so it comes with your subscription, and being a rookie car, it also has a rookie series, which means that for all the 12 weeks of the racing season, the car will be raced on free tracks. Therefore, if you sign up, for example, starting from Tuesday, GMT, this car will be at Lime Rock Park, and you are quite sure to find me there, because I love racing around Lime Rock Park with low-power cars. And it follows the same schedule also as the Formula Ford, which is the next step that you can want to take. So if you can race both cars in half-an-hour intervals in official series, and Formula Ford is my favorite car in racing right now. So this is, they both have, they both look similar, but they are completely different in the way they are built. Formula Ford being a proper race car and not a Volkswagen Beetle, but still it's quite fun to jump between the two cars. As I think Rondoletto and Scoli have not finished their fight now. Scoli on the inside here at the chicane, and he gets the position. So once again, up to second place is Scoli, down to third is Rondoletto, but this is far from over.
Oh yeah, and keep in mind, like, even though it looks really close, really tight, really fun between Scoli and Rondoletto, Josh Purwin's sitting back there. He may be 6 seconds back, but he is not out of this race just yet. So always something to keep an eye on. And something additionally is that Galavi is actually out right now. He is in the pits, and I think we were about to find out why, and indeed we are. So a great shout out to those guys in the back that pop up on your screen every once in a while. Coming around the corner, and oh yeah, oversteer a little bit, can't keep the back end in the back, and it swings around, and he is headed to the pits.
That big curve there has been the demise of many a driver today. This race has gone by quite quickly, as Scoli has closed the gap on Valero massively, might I add, and he takes the lead.
Wait, what? Okay. If I was not mistaken, Marco, we were talking about how the battle between Scoli and Rondoletto was giving Valero more of a lead, and yet here we are with Scoli now zooming all the way past his teammate, and now past Valero, with Valero now overtaking again, but just hundreds, thousands of a second between them. Scoli, Valero, they're exchanging the lead coming around the bottom half of the racetrack. And now, I mean, oh my God, it's so close to, it's too close to call. Valero, Scoli, Rondoletto, all making this race. It's a really, what do you want to call it? Bell curve. Back of the pack, absolutely nothing happening there. Front of the pack, all the action condensed here for our viewing pleasure. Awfully nice of them to give us such an amazing race so far.
I'm positive that Valero must have made a mistake somewhere, either a slowdown or a spin there at the big curb. Here comes Scoli, and he's too deep on the brakes, and he loses not only first but also second position because Rondoletto profits from his teammate's mistake, and so Scoli with that small mistake there at the braking area from first down to third.
Huge swings. This is not just going 3 wide. Anybody can take it. This is individual mistakes, individual successes, capitalizing on the errors that you see your opponents make. Such incredible control here. Now Valero, even though we talked about his incredible lead earlier, losing it, going back down to second, now coming back up to first, and you have to know, now he's mortal. And we may actually get a chance to see exactly what happened to Kyle Valero in our AMX Global League replay. We're about to see it. Looks like not a lot, but just going a little bit wide there, straight through the cones, and that's going to cost him at least a couple seconds.
It's almost like he wanted to go through the normal racetrack, and sometimes it's easy to get confused. As this battle continues, we only have 2 laps to go, and anybody's guess, honestly, because all 3 of these drivers have a big chance of bringing home the race victory.
One of these reasons I love the low-powered cars, because it does set up moments like this, right? Absolutely anybody's race coming in through the white flag in no time, really. Our racers are so grouped up, so close together, and you are really seeing a lot of danger as they come through. One of the final curves, about halfway through, as they enter and exit from the Sox curve, Sud curve, coming into the white flag any second now. Who is going to take this? I don't know. Rondoletto now enjoying his time in the front, and a huge spin out right as I say it. He curses himself back to third, spinning out of contention, with Scoli, his teammate, taking the lead.
Yeah, contact between Valero and Rondoletto, and that sent the Argentinian out for a spin. Here comes Josh Purwin with Gael Valero, who's, I think, waiting very gentlemanly on Rondoletto to let him pass. This will also, of course, let Purwin through. So Scoli, out of nowhere, is laughing all the way to the bank because there is nobody behind him. And now the fight is for second place.
And what a fight it is, right? We were talking about Purwin a long time ago, and now all of a sudden, this guy trying to get on the podium. He's up here in third and almost second, battling with Rondoletto all the way through. The white flag is out, Scoli dominating. It was close for a while, Marco, but not anymore. For Scoli, he is out of there. Rondoletto, Purwin, Valero, all trying to secure themselves a spot on the podium. The top 4 could change at any moment, with Josh Purwin currently in front by a nose. For now, no longer Rondoletto in the lead. Purwin, Valero right behind him and nipping at his heels. Coming around one of the final curves, Sachs curve into Sud, and now one more curve remains. The first, the checkered flag will be Scoli, just now passing through.
No!
A huge spin out! It's at the very last minute. The finish line in their sights, and they cannot make it. Get out of the cockpit. Start climbing, running, put your shoes on, tie your laces. You got to get across the curve. It's Valero, Rondoletto, and Josh Purwin cannot make it. He's stuck in the back, and a little bit of a clip there. Little bit of vengeance getting across as everyone does make it in the end. But oh my God, Marco, what happened?
In all of this, Scoli has won the race, so collision at the very end of the race between Purwin and Rondoletto, so Valero squeaks by and gets onto second. Rondoletto crosses the start-finish line in reverse, and and Josh Purwin ended in 4th. Then after the end of the race, Gaston Kulavi smashes into, I think, into Rondoletto's car. We'll see the replay once again. Here we go. Contact between Purwin and Rondoletto. They both go in the gravel trap. So Valero ends up finishing in 2nd, and you will see the incredible what a race. I mean, there are no words honestly to describe what happened in this first race that hopefully sets the tone for race 2. Manuel Scoli wins in front of Gael Valero and Octavio Rondoletto. You see the gaps and you say, well, a boring race. No, it wasn't. So if you just joined us in the break, go back and catch it. Josh Purwin in 4th, Villarreal was 5th, and Kulabi, Senji and Kang round up your running order. Man, Reed, what an incredible race.
I don't even know what to say. We're required by law every race as commentators to say, well, anybody could win this race when one guy like Gael Valero is like 2-3 seconds in the lead. And then you're going to finish like that. At no point in time, Marco, are you able to predict this. You know, the commentator curse is out there, but realistically, Formula V, I think, is really the true winner of this race. Actually, I take that back, Marco. The true winner of this and all of the races in AMX Season 2 are the fans. So, big thanks to everybody out there who enjoyed that along with us. I don't even know. How would you summarize what we just saw right there, Marco?
You know, there is a reason why, being a talentless driver, I stick to low-powered cars. Is because they have more participation, so they have more drivers of my level, and B, because even in the most random race, you can have something like this happen. Close quarter battles, you know, incredible things, and it's never over until the checker flag waves. So we've seen another example of that right now. Now, the USF2000, which we'll have very soon, is another car that I would describe as low-powered, but compared to this, it will be a rocket ship. So we'll see what kind of race we have there.
That's right, we are going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, it's USF2000s on the Nurburgring, Grand Prix, but we're doing the sprint circuit, so it's going to be a little bit of a shorter trip around Nurburgring than you are used to. So, got all that and more coming up when we come back after just about 30 minutes. So get yourself a snack and be right back in 30 for a lot more action from Season 2 AMX.
Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and Eye Care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye Care U. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an Eye Care monitor and Eye Care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye Care U. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes. Safeguard your eyes smartly and easily with an eye care monitor and eye care U software. Working on a paper? Turn on low blue light mode. Is the sun too bright? Let brightness intelligence do its work. Now better. Writing code gets your eyes tired? Try coding mode. Forget the time. Light reminder lets you know. Totally immersed in the movie? Minimize software won't distract you. Break reminder and force break help manage your screen time. When it's almost time, a countdown starts. Force break activates to rest your eyes. Eye care you. Safeguard your eyes.
And we're back. Welcome, everybody, to another fabulous day of AMX Season 2. Hope you guys didn't miss us too much. We're only gone for about half an hour. But after today's races, we'll be taking a day off and then we'll be back for our final two races of the week. We just finished putting out a bunch of social media posts about the doubling of the prize pool for the next 2 weeks. So if you've been watching AMX and you want to get involved, but you don't want to pay for an entry fee, our free races now give you twice as many points or twice as many dollars. So feel free to head on over to amxrace.com, sign up, win even more. I'm reading now officially. This is Marco. He's over there now. And welcome back, Marco. We have our last race of the night, which is going to be USF2000 on Nurburgring. Tell us a little bit about that. Give us a teaser.
Yes, this is going to be basically the short version of the Nurburgring GP track. Even though it's not as short as the Hockenheim track we've just seen, it's still not long. You see, this bit will be cut, we'll not race in this corner here, for example. And the USF2000 is basically an American version of what we have here in Europe as the F4 car, with some differences here and there, but the base is the same chassis. So it's basically the next step after you go through Formula Regional, and the second step after you go maybe through something like FX or Predator or Rainbow Formula or whatever it's raced in your country. So we'll see. I think compared to what we had earlier, rocket ships compared to the Formula V.
Yeah, Formula V might not be able to catch up to these guys. Glad you mentioned that this is the sprint circuit, and there are a few different versions of the sprint circuit that include Mercedes Arena, F1 chicane that they added in there, and a couple of other ones. We've just kind of gotten everything. Just when in doubt, this is sprint strecke. So talk a little bit more about that when we get into the game. This is a look at our calendar. It's the same look at our calendar that we had a little bit earlier, and that is to say that we are getting through over halfway through the month of May, or maybe I guess exactly halfway through the month of May. That means that we are almost halfway through season 2. We have about 45 races left to go out of the 90 that we started with. So if you're just out tuning in for the first time and you didn't hear me say it earlier, this is the reflection of the doubled prize pool that we have for our 3-tier races. They're free. You can just go to amxrace.com, sign up, and get into the action. It's 14 points per first. That's $14 plus another 5 for the fastest lap. So win yourself almost $20 just from coming out and racing AMX. And if you're good enough, then you can do that at higher tiers, of competition as well. So a little bit of a promotion there. Also, if you follow us on social media, we've got updates with even more promotion that you guys will definitely want to keep an eye out on. This is a paid tier 1 race, which I probably should have mentioned earlier. I think I misread the date. But anyway, it's a paid tier 1 race, which means that there's a little bit more money on the line. For Kyle Gaspar, he is at the top of that money. Gaston Clavey right underneath him. You can read the names on there, and it's a bit heavy at the top, which means that guys like Adrian Claros, who we haven't seen in a while, are still on the board because the racers are remarkably consistent, and honestly, we have not seen racers as good as the guys on this list. They are just that good. So very excited to see who you will be seeing today as we get out onto the Nurburgring. And this is a look at the full layouts that I said earlier. 25 for first, all the way down. Anticipation if you do make it out. And obviously, if you don't qualify, don't finish, don't show up, then you don't get anything. Make sure if you sign up, you come out to race, and then you too can get your share of all those good points up on your screen. It only costs $5 to enter too. So as long as you place 9th or higher, you're making your money back, and probably making a little bit more than that. So that is the breakdown for a tier 1 race. And today we will be tier 1 racing on this track. It's the Nurburgring. Which I'll say wrong and hilariously every single time as loudly as I can. And more importantly, it is the sprint strecke, which means the sprint version, shortened version, not quite as short, like Marco said earlier, as our time on Hockenheim Ring, but it is still a much shorter version. We are turning around at the Kurzenbindung. I'm so happy no one here speaks German. But yeah, it's a little bit shorter. What do you think about the Nurburgring, Marco?
Yeah, very fun track. It has a difficult, of course, task of replacing the Nordschleife in F1 and all other competitions in the early 80s. It was built after the crash that involved Niki Lauda in 76. As again, opened in the early 80s, and this is basically, as you were saying, the shorter version. We will cut off basically the hairpin and the Schumacher has in the middle portion of the racetrack. So this is basically the same track that they used for the 24-hour race, plus the big Nordschleife, which was in a racing, by the way, Saturday. But there they do the left-right at the first corner. Here we do the Mercedes Arena, which is not used, of course, during the 24-hour weekend, because that's the support races paddock, so there is no space. But you know, in this short version, we basically do it as well. The Mercedes Arena is used in this case, so still quite a long track, even with the bits that we cut out, and perfect for these cars, because these cars, as I was saying earlier, are a junior formula, entry-level formula, but still very, very fast. The USF2000, of course, as the name suggests, it is a North American race car that's used in entry-level single-seater categories in the what was once called Road to Indy, of course. Now not anymore, because they've gone through different ownership just a couple of months back, and because we cannot say IndyCar anymore on iRacing. Anyway, 175 Mazda engine for these cars, of course. As I was saying, these are very similar, if not identical, the same chassis as what we have in Europe with the F4 car, or also in North America there is F4 as well. The same Tatus chassis. You can put whatever engine you want inside. This is a Mazda engine. In Europe we have a Alfa Romeo Abarth engine, apologies. And same chassis with a bigger engine is used for the Pro Mazda series, which is also available in iRacing, by the way. Big difference is that this one doesn't have the halo, as you can see here, because it was introduced the year before it became popular worldwide. So, but again, iRacing also has the F4 car, even though it's not an official F4 car because FIA shenanigans. And so you can drive both of them, and you can test the difference between the European version and the basically North American version of the car.
Some spinning out here in practice, which is what we have going on behind the overlays, and we'll keep an eye on this because it kind of gives you an idea of, oh wait, these godlike racers are mortal too, right? They still need some time to adjust and feel the difference, because going from Formula V to USF2000, maybe a slight adjustment is needed. They do, as Marco was saying, feel a little bit more like spaceships than the Formula Vs that we had, which may feel a little bit more like a walk in the park. But for now, it's not just going to be the USF 2000s that are the main challenge. We are still technically on the Nurburgring, and even though it's not Nordschleife, it's not the Grand Prix Strecke, it is just the sprint track. It is still a decently challenging experience. So if you've never tried out Nurburgring, what rock are you sleeping under? I don't know, but it's certainly one of those storied tracks out there, and absolutely a staple of racing for many years. So we got 4 racers for today's race, and happy to see a who's who of some of the strongest racers we've seen all season long. And it should actually shape up to be a pretty nice race, even though we don't get to see USF 2000s very often.
Yes, and you can see now we are just racing through the cut, and this is back onto the Grand Prix track proper. There is also a shorter version of this track, which is the Mullenbach version of the Grand Prix circuit, which is basically uses a couple of access roads. We once used it many years ago in 2020 in one of the long nights when everybody was at home to do a all-star race with some of the best race car drivers in real life in North America. with the rallycross cars, which are perfect because there is like a 90-degree up the hill corner at some point, and pit road is basically five pit stalls in an access road in the grass. But yeah, that would have been a bit too short, I think, for these cars. Josh Purwin, which all in all had quite the eventful race, because he was on pole position, he dropped to third in the first corner, he was down to fifth at the end of the first lap, and then he made a nice comeback. He was fighting for the podium, and then he finished fourth after a last corner collision. So he's looking forward to have maybe a more straightforward race, as you know, I think that's his hope. Gael Valero, of course, who incredibly didn't win the race in Hockenheim. He was too involved in a couple of collisions. Jackson Hesenji had a terrible race. He spun and retired in lap 1. So all these drivers are looking for something better from the race 2 compared to race 1. If Josh can get it on pole position and you know, finish on the podium, maybe win, would be good for him. But Valero has got different opinion right now, Reed, because he's got a record sector 1, a record sector 2. Let's see if he can complete the pole position lap.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Mullenbach, Steife, the very, very tiny track. I was looking through the different track configurations, and I was like, well, surely the sprint track is the smallest. No, it is. It's a nice medium-sized track. If you want to consider it like that. And let's see what happens when we have these qualifying times come through here. It looks like 1:30 by Josh Purwin should be able to improve just a little bit on that as we go through, because we still haven't seen most of our racers finish their qualifying run. And man, just look at these I ratings: 7.1, 9.3, 5.1, even Diego Villarreal at 3.4, absolutely still pretty good. But when you start out down at like 1,000, it takes a very long time to climb up, even over 2K. And once you get over like 3, 4K, that's really when you start to see, oh, I am amongst the gods. So I don't know if that's like a visual glitch on Gael Valero, who's up at 9.3K, but it's not. He's just that good. So very, very impressed with our drivers so far, and excited to see what they have to offer here on the sprint straight of the Nurburgring.
Yeah. Speaking of rating, there has been a classic lesson in economics 101 in the last few years in racing, because every time you sign up to when you sign up to iRacing, you get assigned 1,300 iRating or 1,250, I don't remember, but 50 iRating more or less. It's moot point. As Hesenji gets to provisional pole, 29.2. And of course, we've had a lot more people have joined iRacing in the past 3 years after it became super popular during 2020, and so iRacing has become very, very inflated. So basically, what you have now, if you have got like 5,000 iRating right now, it's like let's say that it's becoming, I wouldn't say easier to get a high rating, but certainly the extremes are getting very, very big. The bell curve, of course, as we were talking about in the first race, doesn't lie ever. So to get to where Gael Valero is, and there is right now Gael Valero 9.1. I mean, that's 9.3. Sorry, that's incredible. By the way, Gael Valero team, AMX Racing team, has just announced they are becoming the new factory team for Mercedes AMG in esports. So congratulations to AMX Racing team. Now, hopefully, we can get a cool Mercedes-style livery on this car. But Valero gets to provisional pole, 28.577. Hesenji in second and Purwin in third.
That's right. He knows anything under 129 is probably going to be a good time, so he is going to hit and sit it out for the rest of qualifiers, and we'll see what happens. As Jackson Resenje also relatively close, still has got about a second to shave off. He wants to contest that pole position, and Josh Berwin's still out there, still trying to get some of these good qualifying times, but there's only about 3 minutes left for him to head out on the track and find out if he can improve his grid start. And of course, just as always, Diego Villarreal choosing not to qualify with us and saving up his chi for the rest of the actual.
And Diego Villarreal doing the real life strategy, in real life, of course, especially when you race in these categories, you're always on a tight budget, unless you are, maybe a junior team of some big team in IndyCar, in this case, or F1. But even in those cases, you're still always on a tight budget. So in my years as a marshal at the local racetrack here in Vallelunga, I've heard so many stories about drivers only doing like one run in qualifying because they have to save the tires for the race, because they only have like one set of tires for the day or stuff like that. No? So the magic of motorsport is very expensive still to this day. It is not surprising that many people have turned to sim racing, because if you really think about it, this is the only sport you can somewhat replicate from the comfort of your home. Any other sport you can't, unless you have one of those super expensive golf setups that cost like 15,000 euros or dollars, and to play golf inside the comfort of your home. But let's say that equipment for sim racing can go from cheap to very expensive, but never to those levels of expensive.
Yeah, absolutely, Marco. I only think about like the episode of, what was it, like sim racing cribs, where people show off their rigs. And, I mean, there's you can go as far as like hydraulics, you can go as far as building out an actual cockpit from your favorite model. You can get a ton of screens. You can get real race car smell. There's a lot you can do to give yourself the authentic iRacing experience. And of course, here we are on the outside looking in, and it really does remove a lot of the fire, the magic from sim racing. To watch it is only to experience a small fraction of the wonder of what it feels like to actually pilot some of these cars. This is like the comparison of like Instagram to real life, right? Like when somebody posts a picture of food, I can see the food, but I can't taste it. And I would dare say the best part is how it tastes. And thusly, to watch sim racing, while fun, really only does show a small fraction of the challenge, the difficulty that it is to pilot these cars, and of course the true satisfaction of feeling them under your control. And that is going to be a relatively high drama finish to the qualifying session, putting Guile Valero, Jackson Vicente, Josh Berwin, and Diego Villarreal in that order going into the race.
Checker flag as well, as you were saying, as always, to finish on your point, I always say the beauty of sim racing, you can jump into a racing, this car, this track, same weather, same setup, and see for yourself how good how fast you are. Usually you won't be as fast as these guys, unless you are a very fast guy yourself, but fast, not fast. AMXrace.com, join us for the next few races. Why not? Because you've seen the fun. You get to be on TV, and what more do you want? Great competition, great coverage, and great races.
And great casters. Truly the best part about being part of AMX. You get to hear Marco and I, or any of our other fantastic commentators, talk about you during the race. And we're always leveling things up here at AMX. Every day, you never know what you're going to see, continuing to make things better and better. If you have any feedback, you can also share that with us via our social media. You can also join our Discord. We're always checking in there if you have some suggestions, or just want to tell us about how amazing and beautiful we all are. Don't worry. Either way. Yeah, come on, get out here and join us. We are currently stuck in limbo inside the AMX blimp, hovering over the Nurburgring. We're not allowed to race until they land, but we're not landing for another 30, 45 minutes or so. So we've got to stay up here for a while, but you guys do not have to stay where you are. You can head on over to amxrace.com as long as you like, and head on over there to make use of our double points promotion. Points, dollars, whatever you want to call it. You get twice as many when you enter between today and the 30th. So basically the next 2 weeks, we're doubling the points, we're doubling the money that you get for winning a free race. For any of our free races, you're making twice as much. Never been a better time than now to go and sign up for a free race at amxrace.com. The end.
Qualifying results on your screen: Gael Valero, pole sitter in front of Jackson Hesenji and Josh Purwin. Without time is Diego Villarreal. You can see from the aerial shot the parking lot has been completely filled with cars. The grandstands are full and the grid is also almost full. We are just missing no, we have all the drivers on the grid. We are good to go.
Yeah, exactly. We are good to go. And I believe this is going to be a standing start for today's race, so should be a little bit different. I think for the most part, we've seen rolling starts so far this week or this season, so a little bit different. Oh, wait, where's the... Oh, there we go. All right. Peek of the demo. And we're out on to the Nurburgring. Honestly, going to be a little bit of a different experience for me. I have not seen the sprint striker raced yet, I want to say. So it does add a little bit of extra challenge, I guess, considering that we are cutting out the Michael Schumacher-esque unlock air, work curve, valve, all that stuff way down at the bottom, and we are taking a little bit of a shorter trip out on to the Nurburgring sprint striker for lap 1 of our 12 laps here in USF2000.
Great start from Valero. Hesenji in second, Purwin third, Villarreal fourth, so they didn't switch positions. Here we go to the shortcut, this downhill right-hander. Very, very tricky, easy to lose the car here, and back into the final portion of the racetrack. Left and right here, and then the long downhill run into the final chicane, which I suppose is going to be the GP chicane and not the endurance chicane, which in my opinion is the better version, the Grand Prix chicane, because it offers a passing opportunity instead of nothing passing opportunity. Let's see. Yes, it's the toughest. Making the other chicane is a flat chicane, so basically it doesn't allow drivers to overtake, which is bad for the show in my opinion. So onto the start-finish line, Valero leads the way in front of Hesenji and Josh Purwin and Diego Villarreal, evenly spaced out the top 4 drivers, as Valero looks to improve on his record. As I was saying, he is now, well, after his after race 1, he is now 9 for 14, so he's trying to go up to 10 for 15 should he win this race.
You know, I'm not going to do the math. Actually, I tell a lie, I am. 10 for 15. That means that you have a 66% win rate. Before, I want to say that he was, it was 9 for 14, right? Which is, dare I say, even better a record. And of course, now we are on board with Gael Valero. If you ever wanted to know exactly how handsome our racers are, now you do. The focus, dedication, commitment, in one man's eye. How can it be so great? Well, now you have the answer. Let's take a look. Gael Valero was way out in front, now distancing himself from the rest of the pack. Used to be about 1 second between our racers. Now it is even more. It's gone up, guys. 2 seconds for Gael Valero, 3, and then infinite, as unfortunately we do have a pit for Josh Purwin. He will be taking a little bit of a break. Not sure exactly what happened there, but maybe we'll get to see him again as tries to get the fastest lap reward if he decides to come back. Otherwise, yeah, kind of wondering exactly what happened.
Yeah, I saw him drop from third down to fourth and then head for the pit, so maybe a mistake, a disaster of a day from Josh. Really, what could have been for him, because it was a fantastic qualifying effort in race 1, disaster of a first lap, incredible comeback, and then a disaster of a final lap, unfortunately for him. And here already in the first 2 laps he's already heading for the pits, so this gives a clear road ahead for Villarreal to jump up to nice podium. Zenji down up to second, and as I was saying, Valerio, have you seen Valero's monitor? He's got triple monitor setup from what we can see from the picture, and I can tell you that one of his side monitors is bigger than my main monitor, which is of course helps a lot when you have to look around in tight conditions in a race. It's apart from virtual reality, is the second best option is to have either one big monitor or a triple screen setup. Now, I have 3 screens, but they are all 3 of different sizes, so I could do triple monitor in my sim racing rig, but not suggested with the 3 monitors so different. Here's a mistake from Josh, who goes onto the grass, and the grass, as we know in racing, is basically like ice. And so he went straight for the fence there, breaking his front left suspension, and that's all she wrote, I think, for his chances at a good finish.
Yeah, that's gonna do it. I thought it was gonna be a forced error if he had, hit somebody or made some critical error, but just couldn't turn in. Unfortunately, his race is done for now. He's back out onto the track, so he will be continuing to try for that fastest lap. And maybe, should he find some time travel technology, he can come all the way around and make that up. However unlikely that may be. We'll see if he can rejoin the pack also, just kind of throw a wrench in there, as he is not a full lap behind, or not just a full lap behind. So he'll be in the mix a little bit. Looks like he is right behind Max and Resenje as the crow flies, but of course not in reality, as he did take that one pit stop, get those repairs underway. Ooh, some very bumpy driving here as we're on board with Josh. He is getting back out onto what is proving to be quite a difficult track for him today. Not that he didn't also have a difficult time in our first race, but yeah, definitely a struggle for Josh Berwin down under the standings, if you will.
Speaking of teleporting yourself, iRacing's grandfather, which is Grand Prix Legends, which came out in 1998, by the way, and still to this day has a strong community of people that race it, and it still runs very well, testament to how good the code is behind iRacing and the simulators that preceded it. And a problem that sometimes, especially during practice and qualifying, the server would go crazy, and random drivers would complete a lap in 6-7 seconds, no? As we see Kasenji there going sideways. And the problem was that you had no solution to cancel the lap or put them back, so this was a bit of a pain for league organizers, and the drivers themselves, were basically teleported through no fault of their own. And you had, when you launched a particular racetrack, you had a page when the track was loading, said the fastest lap of the track, and I had a friend of mine who once glitched through a practice session and had a lap in Monte Carlo, the Monaco GP circuit, in 5 seconds. So every time I loaded Monte Carlo Monaco Grand Prix, he said lap record 5 seconds by this guy. So it was always a reminder of I have raced with Grand Prix Legends for years. I've never had a glitch that put me into pole position for a race. I was always last. Never ever.
I would just take that, right? I would just be sitting there and hoping everybody else is bad at math and never asks me where I came from or how I got there. You just show up and you're like, hey guys, how's it going? and everybody else starts to wonder, wait a second, what's going on here? So try to keep those to a minimum. Unfortunately, as much as I would love to attribute Kyle Valero's position to a glitch, he is in first the hard way. Incredibly dominant lead now, stretching beyond 4 seconds. It looks like we're going to take a quick replay to check out Josh Berwin's wreck. There is wreck number 1. Keeps going, and he's back. Unless
look at the suspension here. Front left is broken, Reed, so the car doesn't turn at all, and he completes the disaster, hitting the other barrier there. But he went to turn left, and the suspension front left was broken, no? So the car said, nope, I'm not going there, and he went straight.
You know, this reminds me of Sebastian Buemi when his wheels flew off in the Chinese Grand Prix about 13 years ago. He's driving and the suspension just like explodes. His wheels just fly off. So not quite as graphic, but still going to send Josh back to the pits the hard way. And to his credit, he is still out there, still racing, still trying to get those hot laps. But we'll see if he's able to set some more records. As this is a relatively long track, even though it is still the shortened version of the Nurburgring.
Especially here, the Mercedes Arena, where we just went by with Josh, it is one of the most difficult bits in all of the. I think that there are some places in iRacing where the track surface really basically tries to mimic an oil spill, and the 3 worst places are, in my opinion, the Ascari chicane at Monza, the turn number 10 at Watkins Glen in the boot longer version, and the Mercedes Arena, because the car really is trying to spin under you constantly when you go through there. Now, thankfully for these drivers, they have some kind of aerodynamical grip, not as much, of course, as in like bigger Formula cars, but certainly more than the Formula V and the Formula Ford, so they can try to mitigate this problem as much as they can. Valero 28.7, Rasenji 29.3, so the gap there grows up to 5 seconds. So the more we move up the ladder with cars, the more, of course, a driver like El Valero gets more into his comfort zone. He's so used to drive, of course, higher power cars, but he's also very good with TCR cars, which, of course, have no aerodynamic grip and it's all mechanical. But they're a bit slower, of course, than maybe traditional touring. No. Than GT cars, and then, of course, front-wheel drive, so much better. But the moment we switched into gear into a faster car, Valero really went. And I mean, 2 seconds around the Hockenheim ring short track is a big gap, and he was having that big gap. But then the mistake, of course, that's what caused the snowball effect to the finish that we had, if we remember correctly, because he was leading comfortably there as well, of course. But much more comfy here, of course, as we have a replay of the race start coming up with the cameras showing Diego Villarreal, who's having a nice race. And you can see the start perfect to a T from El Valero, as close as you can to get a jump start without getting one. So fantastic job by the driver there, which was able to get the best start possible with.
Yeah, I mean, starts to the race are honestly kind of the end to the race also for a lot of our racers. So you absolutely have to get that good start. I mean, it seems like a platitude, right? But the idea is that it is a lot more challenging than you might otherwise expect. Josh Perwin still in the back. Diego Villarreal, this is the guy that never decides to go through the qualifiers. He's always just content to get out there and race. That's okay. But now he finds himself actually up in 3rd place after Josh Perwin crashed out and had to dash out to the pits for a while after his suspension got toasted. And that means Diego actually finding himself not that far away, right? He's in place, and while probably he won't be directly contesting either Jackson Resenja or Josh Perwin, he is still doing pretty well for himself. A third place finish in Tier 1 means that you are winning $12, I would say. I'll double check that really quickly, but suffice it to say that it is not bad to be out there. Let's see. So if you're in a paid Tier 1 race, you get third, $20. There's a $5 difference between first, second, third, and fourth. So you have 5 more points up there, and don't forget the $10 reward for the fastest lap. So absolutely something to keep in mind, and something that for Diego it might be a nice little boost.
Yes, sir. Diego, you see them behind Josh Purwin. So Josh is 1 lap back compared to the leader, but still on the same lap, barely, as Diego Villarreal. As you can see, the gap 1 minute 24 between the pair of them. So this shows you that you can see that he's gaining a bit on Diego lap by lap, but of course with only 12 laps it's not going to be possible for him to recover unless Diego makes a massive blunder in these final 3 laps of the race. At the front, 8 seconds now the gap between Valero and Hesenji, so Valero really cruising towards that 10th victory. But again, he was cruising earlier as well, so oh boy, Diego with a mistake and a spin.
Yeah, I mean, you were the one talking about making these kind of terrible errors. Obviously, that one will not put Josh in contention for retaking a higher position, but it is still just showing you how challenging it can be to make it around the shortened version of the Nurburgring in these USF2000. It is not easy, guys. So you want to get out there, try it yourself. AMXRace.com will let you do that and win money for doing it. And here we're seeing Diego also struggling to make it through some of the chicanery we have out onto the track in this shortened version. So a very difficult track. We're seeing our racers continuing to struggle with it even through 11 laps of racing.
You see the replay just in a second, and of course, as you were saying, not enough for Diego to lose the position, but he got very, very close there because, as you can see, locking the front right, which is basically the same mistake that was made by Josh, but he was lucky that he was able to regain control, and then spinning on the grass actually helped him because it stopped the car momentum forward towards the barrier and just did basically a half spin. And on he went. He didn't lose a lot of time. He went from 124 to 119 gap, so all good. Meantime, our race leader, Gael Valero, is about to get the white flag waved in his face, which means that this will be the final lap of the race for the Frenchman.
Yep, one more lap to go as the white flag comes out. Gael Valero way ahead, 8 seconds now. And at the risk of repeating myself, Marco, this is a similar-ish situation to our previous race where we pretty much know what to expect given the way that the standings look. However, that doesn't tell the entire story. You still have to actually make it all the way around the track, and anything can happen at any moment. However, it does appear as if Gael Valero has learned from a few of his mistakes and is just going to take this one a little bit calm, cool, and collected. Josh Purwin now making his way across the finish line, and we are well and truly towards our final lap. There is Josh Purwin. Now he's making. We're going to watch Gael Valero as he is the person most imminently seeking to end this race and claim the checkered flag for himself. And it looks like he is going to take home his share of $25 and, of course, the $10 prize for the fastest lap. So if you're looking for a route, you're looking for a path, you're looking for an angle, just follow everything this guy does. It is looking incredibly good. Very, very consistent, and even very different race cars today with the Formula V going all the way from there to the USF2000. It's going to be good enough for Gael Valero to take first place in the checkered flag and the top spot on the podium for his finish here, with Jackson Resenge just now coming through with the checkered flag of his own, and Diego Villarreal soon to follow. And you can see the look of relief there on Gael Valero's face. Even though he was in the lead for almost the entire race, it is still very, very stressful to deliver. But he did. The mailman, always delivering it for us here at AMX.
And you can see he's showing us the how much the front stretch goes down the hill, so letting his car roll in reverse there. Villarreal finishes third, as you were saying. Purwin is in fourth, and now some well-deserved donuts for Gael Valero, who recovers brilliantly after tough race one. I mean, he finished in second in race one and first in race two, but I could have been a clean sweep. But I think he will be happy nonetheless with his performance today. And another fun race here. Of course, this is a bit more subdued than what we had earlier with the Formula V's, but fun nonetheless. And we should have the results on the screen in a second. There they are. Gael Valero, your winner, almost 10 seconds over Jackson Resenge. Diego Villarreal down to third, and Josh Purwin gets the fourth and final position of the number 11 race in the paid tier 1 here on AMX Global Season 2.
Ta-da! We did it! 2 races down in the bag. We went all the way from our first race at the Hockenheim ring down through the Nurburgring. We started out with Formula V's and finished with USF2000. And that is going to do it for our races today. Man, so much action in our first race, and it got a little bit more technical, a little bit more difficult for the sprint strecke on the Nurburgring to finish things out. But overall, incredible day of racing as per usual here on AMX. And so as far as season 2 is concerned, we're nearing the halfway point, and it just gets better from here. And one of the reasons it keeps getting better for you guys out there is that we keep giving away more points, more money, more races, and more opportunities. You guys can win them. So right now we have we're doubling the prize pool for our free races, and there's actually a lot of ways that you guys can win free races by visiting amxrace.com and following our social media that you see here on your screen. Make an account on amxrace.com, follow the social media, and you too can get out there and win free races and win in those free races to win even more money than normal. So just keeps getting better. That's going to do it for us. We'll take about a 1-day vacation. We'll come back for GT4 classes on Circuit Zolder, and then Porsche 919 LMP1s on COTA, Circuit of the Americas. So gonna make you wait a little bit for all of that goodness, but it'll be more than worth it, I promise. And so on behalf of myself, Marco, everybody behind the scenes in production, and of course all of our beautiful, wonderful racers and viewers, thank you so much for watching AMX Season 2. We'll be back with more in just about a day. See you then.